guys, MBlakeW here with another Interplanetary tutorial. Today I wanted to go over the first part of my weapons tutorial, which specifically relates to the railgun. The railgun you get right off the bat at the beginning of the game. If you wanted to, you could open solar plant and then railgun. And I kind of want to talk about the pros and cons of the railgun in relation to some of the other more advanced weaponry and scenarios that I think the railgun might excel at. So with the railgun being such a early game weapon, it has the pros of early game disruption. Somebody's trying to build up their infrastructure and kind of, get ahead on that late game start. Well, the railgun is great in disrupting that. And the reason it's great is the railgun is fire and forget, kind of a spray and pray tactic. The railgun, unlike missiles or lasers, for example, with those, you have pinpoint accuracy, use your intelligence to determine where exactly you're going to land the missile. The railgun, however, the only interaction you have with firing is its trajectory. The railgun, once it hits a planet, breaks off into 5 separate little pods and kind of explodes all over the place. So this kind of brings me to the con of you probably don't want to have just an arsenal of railguns late game. They're relatively cheap to upgrade, relatively cheap to start with, but in late game you really kind of want to have that pinpoint accuracy of destroying cities. So let's take a look at the railgun stats itself. Here we can see not a lot of HP or stealth rating, but the damage is really good and the damage to population is pretty good. It has some upgrades that you can take. Specifically, you can increase the damage by 100, increase the blast radius by 1, and also increase the fragmentation rate by 1. Generally, when I am playing, I like to go damage and fragmentation upgrades. So I'm doing 400 damage a piece to buildings, and I have 6 fragments going down onto people. I generally just use this early game if I'm going to build railguns at all. Sometimes I forgo it entirely and just try to rush late game. But that fragmentation is absolutely devastating to your buildings early game. It's probably a good tactic if you want to get ahead of somebody to build 1, 2, maybe 3 railguns, keeping in mind that you still need probably to keep your energy reserves for kinetic defense if somebody else is rushing a railgun tactic. But if you can lay down some railgun fire and get some lucky shots in there, maybe destroy a mine or a solar plant or somebody else. I don't think that your primary goal with the railgun is really to do that much damage to the population. It is more harassment than anything else while you're trying to build up your late game infrastructure of missiles and lasers and what have you. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I wanted to keep it quick and kind of pros and cons of railgun, and I hope you guys are having a lot of fun playing Interplanetary. Adios.